do? This is Westy. I'm coming through. Just bought these Detroit Axle ceramic brake pads. These pieces here. This is going on a '06 Chrysler PT Cruiser. Don't mind the noise. I'll be back right 1 second. I was saying, sorry, I'm in a ghetto-ass neighborhood. I just bought these jack stands. I'm just going to do the front ones today, then I'm going to get to the rotors and pads the next day for this '06 Chrysler PT Cruiser. So we're just going to be doing the pads today, front pads. What you typically want to get is a good jack. Don't get these scissor lift jacks. They're usually garbage, but hence the reason I got the stands. Whenever you do rotors, you want to pick yourself up a can of this brake parts cleaner. And if you've ever worked with brakes before, you're going to want to get one of these, something. This is a Husky ratchet wrench. That's to close the piston in when you are resetting the caliper. So when typically in brakes there's this big piston, you'll see it when we get to it, but yeah, picked myself up a new socket set, 2 deep sockets, and a new socket wrench somewhere here. This is it right here. It's not adjustable. Well, I'm hoping I got the right sizes. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it though. As soon as I take the lug nuts off the front axle here, I'll tell you the sizes in the description, as well as the whole procedure. So let's get to it. Alright, so once you get your car jacked up, make sure you get these jack stands underneath there. They're under the axle mount there. Every time you jack up a car, put a wheel under it for extra precaution and safety. Make sure you still have your jack up. I wouldn't even let it, go down and just rely on the jack stands. But anyway, what you're gonna want to do when getting back, just to get the pads out, I'm gonna show you how to do the rotors in the next segment. But just to get the pads, there's these. You see these screws here? These are either 12 or 13 millimeter. Get a deep socket and a socket wrench. You can either use an extendable or a regular one. Break those off, unscrew them. These things, you can pop them right off when you're replacing them, or you're just reusing these old ones. Make sure you put a layer of grease on them and wipe thoroughly with a towel. You click right back in. So when you take your old pads off, for a PT Cruiser at least, these little pins here on the end, honestly, most useless design. All you got to worry about if this part's really worn down. So we got a new one in there, and you want to make sure that's in there. Now, they didn't even have the plates when I took this off, so we're putting new plates on too. You want to put that on before you do the pads I was just showing for reference. So they can kind of be a bitch to put in, to really just set in. But you get them both in there, you're good to put the pads in, the new pads. And with your new pad here, once I get these plates in, you want to make sure the wear indicator is on the inside of the car, not the outside. You want to make sure this one, with this clip, this is the wear indicator. That's on the inside of the car. Very, very important. Alright, ladies and germs, so like with PEMDAS, for the front brakes at least, what we do on one side, we do on the other. So I just got this loose, and yeah, I'm using a 12 millimeter deep socket. It wasn't a 13, so I stood corrected there. You want to make sure you don't lose this crap. Go somewhere you're not going to lose it. Alright, I'm going to get at the other one at the top. Just so you know, these are called the this is the caliper. This is the caliper bolts here. So I get my deep socket in place here. It's hard to do with one hand, so forgive me for that. There you go. Get up under there. You know, man, you gotta take your time with this kind of crap. Even though I'm doing it late in the evening, I started relatively at noon. You know, it takes me a while because I'm not a professional mechanic. So I'm gonna break this free. I got it up on there. There we go. I don't know if you were able to see it or not, but got it off there. Remember, righty tighty, lefty loosey. So, now we got this off. Now, I didn't show it, but you want to pry this caliper off because it's typically on there pretty good. And like I said, next segment I'm gonna do is gonna be the rotors. This is just for your pads. Alright, give me a second here. We're gonna adjust. So I like to take a hammer, the back end of a hammer, and just pry this off. You can use a pry bar, you can use a screwdriver, whatever your heart desires here. Let me try to prop it up at least so you can get a view. Sorry about the loud rap music. Like I said, I live in the ghetto. Alright. But it's got some fair share of its people. Stuff there. Now you never want that to happen. You never want to let it just dangle on its brake line there. So I use a little bungee cord I prop that up with. So I'm going to stop this segment right now and move on to the next one. And that I'm using Detroit axle. They were kind enough to give me a caliper slider grease packet here. So what we're going to do is prop these off. And you know, they're not that bad. You can skate by with not even greasing these up again. And I'm pretty sure it's been like, what, over 7,000 miles since she's had these done. I'm doing this for my mom, by the way. So these aren't really that bad. But when in Rome, right? So we're going to disperse a little bit of this grease on here. Not too much, though, because it's got some on there already. It's hard to do with one hand. Frustrating. Alright. Disperse that on there. This shit's brown. Look at that. It's like diarrhea. Typically it's white. Or so I'm led to believe. That's probably too much. Get it here. Prop that puppy back in there. Here. Little goes a long way. Don't need too much of this grease. Still need some for the rear end wheels too. So we're gonna make sure. Also guys, sorry if the audio gets muffled. throughout the video. This phone's crap. I cover the microphone every now and then. This baby's like, what, 6 years old now? That's pretty well greased up. That puppy back in. Alright. Now we're going to take these pads out. As well as the slot. Oh, look at that. Pin came right out. Wow, I feel rust in my lungs. That's a bad sign when you feel rust in your lungs. Okay. So with these pads, if they're in there well and good, get stubborn, you can pry them out with a hammer too, just like we did with the caliper. Alright, back again. You want to make sure you get a wrench that's not as long as this. This is a little cheat. Not all brake pistons are going to be like this, but this one is. So this is what I do. You don't have to do the same thing, but this is like a beehive, and there's like a rubber apparatus that extends out. The brake piston springs out into the caliper, so you got to push this one back in. So what you do is get the you want to get the indicator inside of this. What I do is just press it with a wrench and like squeeze as tight as I can, and it's all about the same applied pressure, not overexerting yourself doing it. Alright, so that's just a tip. Not all of these pistons are like that. If anyone's worked with a Honda, then you'll know that Honda Civics, you need like a special tool